According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way for a tour like this should ever work. Its fat little hosts are too heavy, and his wings are starting off the ground. The host, of course, does anyway, and because humans are then the managers, I think, is possible.
What?
Old dated memes aside, hey everyone, this is McCoy welcoming you back to another episode of the Tourist Plaza Premiere Podcast. I am joined by
Pokeair 2004, who took a solid minute to remember what that old meme was from.
Last time we covered Week 6 recap and Week 7 predicts. This time, we finally did it. It's the end of the round robin tournament. Well, the round robin stage of this tournament. And we're in the playoff season, people. This week was kind of a boring week, not gonna lie. There were some expected outcomes, and half of them didn't even play because they don't matter.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine though. We got our 4 teams locked in for playoffs, and most of the implications for the tour, for the teams themselves, they're pretty much all locked in for playoffs. So we got our 4 teams, but let's go through the week, shall we? Because it's gotta keep consistency, y'all. First off, we got the Absolute Absa posters beating the Valletta Drive Bayonets. Well, technically they didn't beat them because they didn't score the 5 win point, but still, they had the thing won, and then 2 of you decided to dead game, right?
Yep.
Well, fine. First off, we got TSAA. We got the Number Man versus Oakley's. Oakley's brought a weird team, honestly. Let's start with the fact that Oakley's brought freaking Articuno Galler, Rotom, Drampa. I mean, yes, you got the tried and true Regirock, Lantern, and Weezing that we've seen quite a bit in this tour, but comparing these two, you think you'd know who the matchup is won by this point? Like, really?
Yeah.
I get trying to meme, but when you're weak to a skunk, then that's a sign of how bad the team was built. Anyway,
Hey, Skunk happens to be good into a lot of the teams we've been bringing lately.
This is your second time losing to Skunk, by the way. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
I mean, yes, the turns where Regirock and Weezing just basically switched each other to take down Reshiram was nice, but Skuntank really is the MVP. I'm pretty sure that was Unburdened because it just kept sweeping everything. Along with the screen setup, yeah, there was nothing really Oakley's can do besides lose to the Number Man. And Number Man continues to have quite a decent record, despite not really playing that much. Stab and Mega, you got Ice Master versus Axel. Now this one was a really interesting game. First off, Ice Master's Steelix had a unique Ampharos side, I'll give him that. Dragon Pulse, Spikes...
I'm sure that isn't the first time I've seen it, though.
Really? Dragon Pulse, Spikes, and Toxic were pretty notable. Especially Special Steelix, since we really haven't seen that much common. Although...
I'm pretty sure Ice Master may have brought it before, because I remember seeing this Steelix.
Okay, fair enough. But I will say though, Mamoswine's Scissorite set proved really OP under gravity. Like, it just kept triple axling and bone meringue the rest of Ice Master's mons. Like, even Toxapex who couldn't wall it, and the rest just couldn't have time to wall this. Plus, Gravity Lando's Earthquake plays allowed it to basically win the game. A very well built Gravity team, not gonna lie. Next up, we got Irpachuza versus Michael Durbest. This one went about as cleanly as a Michael Durbest Rams game should go. Game 1, Zoroark really tried to do Tyranitar in. I don't know why Ripper decided to stay in. Umbreon taking out Poltegeist was foul play, was kind of a neat move. And then Tapu Koko just outspeeding a +1 speed Dragonite. Was also a noticeable fact. Game 2, Irpa had a lot of legendaries planned and failed to win, with Fortress hilariously walling Zygarde as a bonus because it just kept living these hits. It's crazy. And Michael their best continues to impress with a 14-0 record.
Yep.
He's never lost in Rans yet. Well, we'll see what happens this week in the semis.
Yes, we will, and I'm sure he's gonna go 60-0.
Oh boy. Camo doubles. We got Yoda versus Euphinos. The whole concept of Euphinos' team sounds really promising. Like, you got a Runerigus skill swap along with Scyther, who has Technician. And basically that transfers the skill swap into Kyurem, which had...
dual wing beat.
Yeah, dual wing beat and Icicle Spear, which sounds really promising. It looked very good as kind of a gimmicky doubles team. Unfortunately, Tapu Fini's set walled Euphinos' entire team. Especially the Kyurem.
Actually, I don't know if it was Icicle Spear. It was actually Flying Dark.
Oh, Flying Dark. Oh, never mind. So, it was dual wing beat, though.
I don't know. Yeah, it was dual wing beat, and I don't know the rest set.
Yeah, but...
Good check.
Okay.
It might still be in the camo doubles thing.
But, Tapu Fini's set just walled Euphinos' entire team, basically. He really didn't have much counters, much anything to do with Tapu Fini. Really nothing much else to say game-wise, though. Yoda, I know Euphinos is basically trying to impress us all with a neat VGC strat, but Yoda really was the better doubles player here. Not really much else to say. Although him using the normal typings to his team, not really taking advantage of the camo rule. Kudos to you.
Well, can't find the team. I just remembered you've never actually posted the team he used in the game.
Aww.
Rather just, versions of it.
Sad. Next up is Tony Flygon versus Shiloh. Didn't get to see it, but we will see this later. Well, later as in, this is gonna be in next week. Natics Ubers, minus obtainable forms. We got WSN1 versus Tect. Will actually got really haxed early on with 2 Fire Blast misses. Well, a Fire Blast miss on Necrozma, and then 2 Paras on a Rayquaza, where both are really in a good position to sweep. I mean, eventually Arceus won the fight with a good Sword Stance and Earthquake play against the switching Mega T-Tar, but still, really unfortunate really unfortunate for those first games, but the latter game we know Will was going to win regardless after he revealed Earthquake to take out Mega T-Tar and then swept the rest with E-Speed. So there's that. Next up was Dugza versus Parashong. This was another dead game. Not surprised. Mystery OU, we got Manat versus Spoo. Metronome with extremely weird teams. What were those teams, Pokeyard? Jesus Christ.
What do you mean, what were they?
You got an Electivire and an Electabuzz on the same team with an Impotent? Or no, a Morgrim? Seriously? And game 2.
What's wrong? We're just using teams with Metronome.
And then game 2, we got the Machoke and Machamp thing. I mean, yes, it's same letter, but still. Metronome. Manat proved that he was the better Metronome player between him and Spoo. Although Spoo had unfortunate chances of switching into stuff that he really shouldn't have switched into. So yeah, that was it. That was the whole game. That was the whole series. Next Next up was the Gotham Golbats losing to the Ruinheim Runerigas. It's kind of unfortunate because the Golbats were the closest team to actually, and they need this win and the Articunos to lose in order to snatch a win. But unfortunately, this didn't happen, and they got curb stomped as a result. First off, in TSAA, we got Advative versus Based What. I really like this game. Even though it resulted in a early forfeit that ended up, but the game was going pretty good. I mean, I really liked Base What's sets. First of all, the Ho-Oh set with Curse. Yeah, this was an interesting.
Flare Blitz Brave Bird.
Oh, it was Flare Blitz Curse Brave Bird Roost. Yeah, and a really interesting set to boot. Also, special mention to the Sylvali Magic Guard set with Steel Beam, Swords Dance, and Double Edge.
Yeah, and it was a normal Sylvali.
Very creative. Switching into Delmise at turn 19 was kind of a bad switch. After that point, Based What basically had far more control than Ad because he kept predicting these switches and using the Sylvali to the normal advantage, the Ho-Oh to the normal advantage, and whatnot, before Ad forfeited it around turn 52 or something. But yeah, good win from Based What. Never really expected that. Next up, we got Derpy Boy versus Dr. PhD BJ. I would really love to see this game, but nah, forfeit. Next up, Bring 12 Pick 6. We got Career Ended versus London. I believe we had disagreeing predicts on this one, and I chose Career Ended while you choose London.
I thought we both chose Career Ended.
Oh, yay! We get to take the L together. First up, game 1, Mr. Mime tried to chip Volcanion, but couldn't kill it, unfortunately. Then and the round towards the end, Raichi and Celebi traded Dynamax moves, but Max Flutterby, the reveal on Max Flutterby on Celebi by London, basically won the game at that point. Game 2, Sock didn't go for straight knockoff on the Gorgeist, which he really should have. Whimsicott's Memento against nerfing Mega Swampert was a good strat. And then towards the end, we got Mega Mewtwo avoiding the Paraflinches to win its game, and London took the win. Next up, we got Classier versus Zurn. This was already decided by turn 2 because Classier's miss-switch to the bug-fighting Incineroar was kind of a deal-breaker and really pushed the momentum of that game in Zurn's favor. Hazard...
Yeah, Classier just keeps misplaying on an early turn, and that just costs it.
Yeah. Take that, turn 1 game from before. Hazard play... We haven't actually seen a lot of Hazard play in doubles, but Zurn used it to its full potential with Mew having Stealth Rock and Spikes. Yes, Genesect critted the end, but that didn't really matter because Zurn had the game anyway by that point. So yeah, well done, Zurn. Next up is the only same-six game ever played in this one. In this week, I mean. TDK versus Poek. It was the only same-six game that happened this week, and this one is actually really fun. Wishy-Washy having Slackberry and Scale Shot was a really funny set because it really got to do only one thing: Toxic. Flareon was being used as quick attack cannon fodder. It basically, when a mon is low, Flareon would always come in and then quick attack it to death. Poek's Mega Slowbro cleaned the rest of the game, grass knotting the last two water types, which were Wishy-Washy and Slowbro, and then walling Flareon after Flail because it revealed that TDK's Flareon actually had Endure and Flail, which Slowbro just kind of walled it and ultimately took the win. Poek, well done. Next up was Bacon versus Raichi. Dead game. Next up, Avarice versus Crucify. Dragapult being the light screen reflector was an interesting choice, setting up for Nocturna to safely Geomancy. And it was in a position to sweep until Avarice getting that cursed body chance off on the Frostlass as it was low. It got the cursed body chance off on the Shadow Ball, forcing it to disable. Then Crucify had to Giga Drain the Aegislash by that point, and it was able to wall it and then beat it. And then towards the end game, we got the Mimikyu War, and then a Kitsuno being burned early on in the game was a contributing factor, because it just couldn't kill. I believe it was the... Yeah, it was Revenant. It couldn't kill the Revenant in order to take the win, and Avarice took the win by that point. So well done, Avarice. Next up was EU versus Raichi. This one was a interesting game as well. Well, an interesting turn of events here. Game 6 had the fairly semi-stall game in the first part, and then an ice punch, basically an ice punch fest at the other half, with T-Tar just sweeping the rest. The Gen 8 was a pretty short with really hyper offensive heavy game that saw both trade-off moves fairly simply, and then EU won by keeping Bro alive. I mean, it was basically a normal Gen 8 game with EU winning with Mega Slowbro. No, not Slowbro, just Slowbro. And then Game 7, EU using webs and spikes up. Gyarados looked to set up to sweep until Skarmory stopped it with Rocky Helmet. And then EU's missed Hydro Pumps early on and a Zen Headbutt by the end, forcing the win for Raichi. Which I think... No, you didn't predict. Don't you, PokeArt?
I thought we both predicted EU.
So Raichi, surprisingly, took the W. Next up, a series that we won't be going to much further detail. We got the Grand Order Greninjas versus the Full Moon Frostmoths, because this went 2-2, and nothing really much. And half of the game's deadline. Well, they kind of knew this going in, because Greninjas were 6th and Frostmoths were 8th.
Actually, it says Greninjas are... Well, I don't know what the case was for week 7, but their final standings were 7th and 8th.
Oh, they were the bottom-ranked teams towards the end of the round-robin stages. So yeah, this really did matter at that point. But we did get some good games out of it. First of all, the TSAA, we got Sasha versus Don Vasquez, where there was heavy Yveltal usage towards the early parts, and then towards the end, PokeArt, I don't know if you caught this while we watched it, but the Silvally Ghost substitute set was pretty dang killer, honestly, in this game.
Oh?
Because it had substitute, sword stance, and then multi-attack. It lived a Noivern's, I believe, Aerial 8 Boom Burst. That's the only logical thing I can think of. Yeah, that thing lived a hit and then swept the rest. So Silvally Ghost actually proved very instrumental.
Specs Arrow 8, because that did a lot to a freaking Silvally.
I'm surprised it lived. I'm real surprised it lived.
Of course it did Silvally.
Yeah, I guess. But it ended up sweeping the rest, and that was that. Next game we're talking about was Saba versus RSB. This one we won't really delve into too much, because the two games played were actually just pretty normal. Like, pretty normal, good player versus good player standoff. Game 1, Dynamax Roserade ended up sweeping. Game 2, only a couple moments only one really notable happened, which was Lopunny missing high jump kick, but that didn't even matter, because RSB took control, well, wasn't well in control towards the late game, and Saba just really didn't have any more options left. RSB had a pretty solidly good game. Next game we're going to talk about is Kepper versus Me Morek in doubles. Kepper brought Sun plus Indidi, while Me Morek just basically brought basic TR, Trick Room. But the game was...
But I haven't watched a lot of these games.
Well, the games weren't really worth watching.
But Sun, though.
I mean, Sun and Indidi, I mean, you're basically known for your Sun woman. Well, Me Morek basically just brought, like, the most basic of Trick Room teams. But the game was already decided by turn 1. Because Necrozma revealed safety goggles, basically stopping Venusaur's sleep powder, and potentially doing a lot of damage with Heat Wave. Even living Euphinos Solar Blade to take it out. And it was Grass Steel, Euphinos.
Huh.
So yeah, that was... So Me Morek basically had this game won in like 6 turns, and Kepper just basically didn't have anything left. And finally, we got TPP versus Rice Man in Mystery OU. This one... well, despite how barren the freaking Greninjas versus Frostmont's lineup is, at least we got one meme match out of it, where Rice Man basically copied what he did last week, and then Final Gambited twice in the beginning in Gen 6, and then Latias and Clefable's Combine War ended with Clefable getting critted, which was unfortunate.
I thought it got parried, or am I thinking of a different game?
I think you're thinking of a different game. But you're thinking of last week's game.
Wait.
I believe, with Mossy?
No, what? When Tier Shift AAA?
Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. It was... It's another... Oh, no, it was Oakley's. I believe it was Oakley's game.
No. Again, there's no Clefable in Tier Shift AAA.
Oh, maybe you're thinking of different players. Well, you're probably thinking of different players then. Not Rice Man.
Right, you're right. This was critted.
Yeah. The Game 7, or Gen 7, Rice Man's Trick Room... Well, Rice Man actually played a pretty normal game for once, and not just memes. He played a Trick Room team, which looked pretty strong, but Psychium Z Lele was just too strong of a matchup, and TPP took the safe win. How unfortunate that the namesake of this tour had to go this early on, but hey, at least you can still help me with hosting.
Alright.
And finally, the final matchup, wow, this really sped by fast, was the Articunos losing to the Bounce Suites, but them losing to the Bounce Suites doesn't even matter in the long game, because the Golbat's already lost, meaning the Articunos basically are locked for playoffs. But we're still going to talk about this series.
You mean they're in playoffs?
Well, they're
literally in and participating.
Well, they're guaranteed playoffs, and now they're participating. First off, we're TSAA. We got Poshik Moshik versus Mossy Sandwich. Mossy revealed being Volt Absorb in turn 2, basically neutered anything from Plaku's chances for safely pivoting, which was neat. Mesprit dying was kind of a critical point towards this matchup, as Gallade ended up just sweeping Plaku afterwards. Nothing really much else to say, though. In terms of gameplay, I think both looked very even, but Mossy's matchup was just vastly superior compared to Poshek's, who was pretty... He really didn't have any options for Mossy's team.
Oof.
Next up, Stab and Mega, Agrometelli versus Adem. This was a very weird game. Rhyperior missed 3 consecutive Diamond Storms, while Victini got off a Reflecting Light Screen and Final Gambit. 3 consecutive Diamond Storms. Are you kidding me? Lunala ended up...
What's the chances of that missing again? Times in a row?
Yep. Diamond Storm, 5% chance of missing. 3 times in a row it missed.
Jesus.
It's unfortunate. It does not even to begin to describe that whole copy pasta. Lunala ended up sweeping after an interesting agility set. It had agility, side strike, and moongeist beam, which I'm kind of a fan of. But yeah. Next up, we got Los Kono Shoto versus Yavitu. This one felt very in favor of Los Kono, and I cannot imagine why. Because game 1, we got an early burn off our Manatan on the Moltres, and Yavitu did kind of an oopsie because letting Lilligant set up against the Dynamax Rotom, proceeding to sweep. Unfortunate, but that's the game we play here. Game 2 saw an early freeze on Primeape. Smeargle setting up hazards. Just overall a very heavily favored Los Kono series, where Los Kono basically had the matchup and the luck to back it up against Yavitu, against poor Yavitu, who didn't have anything, unfortunately. So yeah, the very good win for Los Kono, I guess. Next up is Shadow versus Ninja. How fun is it that all Camo Doubles games actually got played this week? We only got one Same 6 game played. Meanwhile, all Camo Doubles games have been played. And people hated Camo Doubles. First off, Shadow having Serena, I think it was a banded set? Killing...
Wait, all Camo Doubles games were played?
Yeah, right?
Well, yeah, but all TSAA games were played too.
Yeah, and Stabbing... No, not Stabbing Mega. Sage vs. Elgino didn't happen. I believe also all...
Did you know all Rand's games were played as well?
I believe also all OU games have been played as well.
Yes, they were.
So yeah, I'm just pointing out the fact that people hate Camo Doubles. So going back to Shadow versus Ninja, I believe that Serena was a bandit set because it killed Metagross even after Intimidate happened. Torkoal withstanding 2 Dragon Darts to do a body press on Incin. That was nice, and overall, just again, Poke Art. Sun teams just rule Camo Doubles. Shadow's team was really good. Next up is Lairu versus Siphicon. This didn't happen. And next up we got FC versus Law Teosite. This game, the best thing to describe was unfortunate. First of all, Cramorant played a huge factor in this game, paralyzing both Yveltal and Rayquaza when they had both chances to sweep, just like the previous Ubers game from before. The real focal point in this game was the nasty player of Miss on the Zacian, because it helped Blaziken basically got off the sword stance and instead did the sweep. So a nasty player of Miss helped FC win the game. Next up was Spitfire versus Trichotomy. Oh boy, Pokeart, did you see this game? So, Pokeart, did you see Spitfire versus Trichotomy?
I think I might have, but I don't. I'm gonna need a slight refresher. Let me look at the teams.
It was, I believe, Fire versus...
Steel versus Psychic.
Steel versus Psychic, never mind. But...
Interestingly, Spitfire was the one who brought Psychic and won.
But, here's the thing. Spitfire actually played well in this game. First off, against the Heatran very early on with Victini. Turn 1 already crippled it with a Choice Band, with Trick. So, that was the start. And then, towards the end of the game, you saw the Demon Mew. Spitfire brought the Demon Mew.
Oh, now that makes sense.
Cosmic Power Roost with Weakness Policy and Stored Power. God, how is that thing not broken yet? Or banned?
It is broken. What do you mean?
Ban it. Ban all uses of Mew.
No, because then that would mean we'd ban all demon mons, like Demon Jirachi.
Yeah. Well, ban freaking Weakness Policy or ban Cosmic Power plus Stored Power. That kind of thing.
No.
Whatever.
You hate Hyper Offense.
I just hate cheese. That's what it is. So yes, but
if we didn't have cheese, then we'd be overran with Stall.
well, bulky offense for the fun. We're getting sidetracked. Monotype Cap Spitfire beat goated Trichotomy. And finally, we got Atrax versus Rob Jr. Not really much to say for this one because Gen 8 Swords Dance Lando swept. Gen 6.
I swear, did you say not much for this one because get.
Gen 8, we saw Swords Dance Lando swept. That was a incredible choice of words for me. Gen 6, we got Azelf's Explosion didn't kill Starmie. Dragonite swept. That's literally my notes. Gen 7, both using their Z moves early, very early on in the game. Toxapex walling Tyranitar for the most part, being hazed and getting the recovers. And then finally, Stone Edge just not barely enough to kill. Atrax really didn't have a good matchup against Rob Jr. by the end, so Rob basically took the win.
Makes sense, and Rob Jr. ended up with the best record, right?
I believe so. Speaking of records, it's time now to reminisce and look back on the teams that didn't make the playoffs in very unfortunate ways. First off, we got the worst performing team who was going into this as the reigning champions. Unfortunately, their team was very, very inferior compared to last year, huh? Well, it might not be inferior. Well, unfair to say that it's inferior, but they didn't have. But their best performing players, well, some of their best performing players, didn't really have the best records. I mean, Felines is 4-1. Oh no, 0-4-1.
Wait, 0-4-1?
He had 0 wins, 4 losses, and 1 dead game.
Oof.
And Leo having 0-4. Fragments being 0-3, and just a very unfortunate records for the most part, and PHA being 0-1. Well, for some of them, most of them went negative actually, with only 2 players having 4 wins and above, and that's Me Morek and GXE. But yeah, this team had a really unfortunate going. Well, first off, being drafted against the Absol posters really didn't have a stand of a chance, huh? And then the rest, they just keep losing. They only managed to get a tie in weeks 5 and 3, but still very unfortunate that the Frostmoths.
Only 3 of their players are positive.
Yeah, they did really have the best season, unfortunately. Maybe just getting outclassed. Well, their team was mostly outclassed by the majority of the players because the rest of the teams are so goddamn stacked that they just really didn't have the best. They just really didn't have the best records, unfortunately, and that's how. I mean, some players did really good. Well, some players did all right, and then some players just couldn't get a win. So yeah, that's been the story for the Frostmoths, and hopefully they come back next year with an even stronger draft and a stronger layout of their team. Next up,
I don't know. We don't need more repeat champion teams. That's just enough.
tell that to BLT.
No, it's too late.
Oh well. Now, next up was the 7th ranked team, the Grand Order Greninjas, who had a better team than the Frostmots, but their records really didn't need to be a lot to be desired. Also, they kept tying. For the first 3 weeks, oh no, for the first 2 weeks, they kept tying. And then the rest of the, well, weeks 1, 2, and 6 they tied, but that overstretch of 3 weeks just having lost every single time really puts a damper into their overall record. But some of them just having really bad. Some players just had it really bad in terms of the luck. First of all, we got Expulso, who didn't pick up a win until week 2. Or at least week 5. Well, week 5 as well. But Expulso being 1-3 going into week 5 was pretty bad. Meanwhile, some of their more underrated picks just didn't do well as well, like Smart Kid and Askov especially, who was slotted in just to you know, being kind of fed, honestly, to the which is unfortunate looking at it from hindsight. Also, some of their players who did really well before didn't exactly do too well. I mean, yes, we got Byleth, who went for 19.5k, only did 4 games and had a 2-2 record based off of it. Starmaster, very good record with a 4-2-1. Sasha being 1-5 also was kind of a bad choice because, you know, Sasha was good. I mean, good for Sasha for getting to play here in TPP, but yeah, kept losing, unfortunately. I mean, look at weeks 2 to 6. Kind of a not a very good for someone who needs to be a playing manager to set a good example to the teams. Didn't do too well, unfortunately. Sage had a neutral record. Kepper was killing it in freaking doubles until the last 3 weeks. And yeah, the rest of the team just had a pretty neutral to bad record. So they didn't pick up a single win. I mean, so did the Frostmots, but still had more ties than them. But yeah, this was another case of a very unfortunate team having to be outclassed by the rest of the TPP teams, and that's why they ended up losing, despite getting good players under good prices. So yeah, hopefully we get to see Boyne and Sasha manage again at some point. Hopefully with another very strong and more really well-defined team.
And Boyne has a history of never really doing well in TPP, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, he was part of the winning team in TPP 1, but after that...
Yeah, he wasn't managing. And every team he managed never did well.
Oh well.
Is what I mean.
Better luck next time. Next up, I think Boyne really needs a strong co-manager. Not saying Sasha is bad, but Boyne really needs a strong co-manager to back up.
Well, Sasha hadn't done this, hadn't managed in this before.
Yeah, fair point.
I don't know how experienced they are. I mean, I suppose they
are
picked with points, so.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see if they come back next year and hopefully getting much experience from this one and hopefully going.
I almost doubt they will.
We'll see. Don't lose faith. Next up is a team that also made playoffs last year but couldn't make it. Fortunately, they did better than the Frostmots, the Bouncing Bounceweets. You know, despite getting Rob Jr. as a sub option, Rob Jr. ended up having really one of the best records, 6-0 in a OU. Very impressive.
He literally had the best record of their team.
Yeah. Well, some of their players also had some pretty good records, like Spitfire actually Spitfire had a pretty good record. Mossy also had a pretty good record with 4-3. Some who played but went negative were Loti and and the Ninja as well, who played but
both managers went negative.
yeah, both managers going negative was kind of the killing blow, basically. Again, just like with Sasha, if you want to play manager, sometimes you really got to step it up in terms of battling, and both Frixel and Siphicon really didn't show the best promise in their games. Frixel for Camo Dubs and Siphicon for Same 6, unfortunately. Hopefully they do better next year, because I know they can show promise. We've seen them do better in other tiers, in other tours especially, but yeah, this one also falls into the trap of good players with good pickup, but unfortunate records and being outclassed is the name of the game. But they did a lot better. But credit to them, they did a lot better, winning week 4 and 7. But yeah, their differential was too low.
You were gonna say they did better than last year, and I was about to call you out on that being
No. They did about the same as I would have done last year. Well, no. Unfortunately, no. They did better last year.
No, they actually made playoffs last
year. Yeah, they
did
better last year. Also, Crying being 0-4-1, despite being their highest buy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt. Some of their big buys.
Although their highest buy was only 15.5k, and that's pretty low for a highest buy, in my opinion.
It is pretty low, but yeah, most of their all of their highest buys. Their highest buy who did well was Spitfire, but the rest didn't really do that well. So yeah, hopefully we get to see them again next year. Hopefully with another more well-defined team. Like I said, better structured, better layout, with players who can actually do well in certain tiers, being more diverse and giving more variety to a team that absolutely needs it. So, name of the game is versatility, folks.
What's wrong with what's not versatile about this?
It is pretty versatile, but outclassed.
Oof.
Next is the 5th place team, and the team who I really expected to make playoffs, but no, they just kind of had a bad couple of last weeks that forced them to not be in playoffs. The Golbats. They did really well in the first 3 weeks, not gonna lie. But after week 4, when they had that really bad loss to the Absols, they just kind of fell off, unfortunately. Credit to them, though. Credit to them for making this far, though, and being the closest one to get that playoff contention. However, and they do have some really good, they did had some really good pickups. I mean, their highest buy was what, 13.5k. Yeah, it may have been 2.5.
Yeah, even lower.
Yeah, it may have been 2k for 2k, but they did have some really good players. First of all, Roxy for getting 3k. Absolutely killing it in monotype cap. Crunchman, who had the streak before losing to Michael Derbest. I mean, Andy Boy did 2-1. Derpy Boy also did 2-1. Classier did 2-2. Beating Yoda, surprising, and beating Poshik in a surprising game, and then getting the unfortunate turn 1, turn 2 misses for weeks 5 to 7. Bacon had a negative record, but still did okay, I guess. Add to going 1-5 was a big surprise to me. I thought he did well, but no. Looking back on it, nah, he could. Yeah, and the rest of the player, like, I wish Zen was more present in OU, but unfortunately, from we can't say what happened. But yeah, unfortunately, getting booted from the Golbats was a bad. And the rest of the
that was pretty bad for them, because that was just
they needed
to their OU.
Yeah, they needed a strong OU to counteract that. But yeah, this one I can definitely say was a lot better for Ducky for being a first time manager, and for Eggs being experienced. experience now.
Experience.
They did pretty all right. I mean, credit to them for absolutely killing it and being first place at one point for the Golbats. But yeah, the couple of
Credit to them for attracting a lot of OM players.
yeah, for having a team with a lot of OM players, they did all right. So again, well done. But again, they needed more versatility here, and really, they should they should have picked a lot more a much more players who are more into more of the tiers than what they've got. I mean, yeah, Crunchman did all right in Rands, but and then the rest did all right in their certain tiers. But yeah, this one was interesting. It was very interesting to say the least.
It was.
So, having said that, we have now reached semifinal territory with the top 4 teams: Articunos, Bayonets, Golbats, and Absol Posters. Oh no, Renerigus.
Did you just say go?
Renerigus, sorry, Renerigus. Renerigus, Absols, Golbats,
You just.
Renerigus, Bayonets, Absols, and Articunos. There, I said it right.
Good.
Here are the tiers this week, and here's the Mystery OU rule sets. Yes, we've repeated them, but this is for another different gen, so it's fine. We still got one new rule set per generation, so it's fine.
Exactly.
So let's look at the teams, and yes, I positioned this way because I'm just like that. We got the Articunos versus the Renerigus, the 4th seed versus the number 1 seed. Who will win? And this one, you can actually predict this one. First off, the TSAA, Poshik Moshik versus Longheap. They've met before. Well, we've seen them meet before. So
week 4.
They've met before in week 4. Who will win this rematch? I mean, Longheap won the last one. Yeah, I mean, Longheap won the last one, and I doubt Poshik Moshik can be able to match up to the skill that Longheap has been. I mean, just look at Longheap's record. Looking at his record right now, he is 6-0. 6-0 in. He's 6-0 in.
I imagine the best TSAA record in the tour right now.
Yeah, I believe so. Meanwhile, Poshik is at a paltry 3-4 record, so not bad. Yeah, but I do think Longheap is going to win and will extend this streak into 7-0.
Okay.
Next up, Agromatali versus Fabulu. Let's see the record. Okay, Agromatali being recorded while Joey's at a paltry 3-1. I mean, yeah, I mean, the records do say, and playing-wise, I like Joey's better than Aggro, so the safe pick is Joey.
The safe pick is indeed Joey.
Bring 12, pick 6, multi-gen Rams. We got Los Gono versus London. I mean, yeah, after seeing both for the past couple weeks, yeah, I think there's no surprise on who I'm gonna pick here. Los Gono for the win.
Italian man, not British man.
Go Los Gono, go Italian man. Camo doubles. We got Shadow Monster versus Roldski. It's nice to see Shadow finally finding his footing in Camo doubles and doing what he is known of doing, and that is doubling pretty good. Meanwhile, Roldski's not falling behind, though. Roldski can actually put up a fight in doubles when given the chance and given proper prep. So who are you going to pick this one?
I feel like Shadow is the safe pick, but Roldski's done decently.
Yeah, I mean, the betting man in me wants to say Roldski. Like, my gut is saying Roldski pretty badly. I think I'm going to go Shadow, though. I think I'm going to go basic and use my non-betting, my safe man instincts, and go for Shadow Monster.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Shadow as well.
Next up, National Dex Same 6, Sanguini versus the Franklin. Finally, Sanguini gets to perform after missing out on playoffs. Grr. I told everyone to play their players and we... well. At least it's fine. At least he's gonna play RS9, and things are not looking good for Sanguini, huh?
That is assuming he isn't subbed out.
Please don't. I don't want to have another player subbing out in terms of playoffs. Oh well. Franklin, RS9.
Yes, RS9.
Natex Ubers, FC versus Reggie. This one's a highlight. In more ways than one. In more ways than one. FC, goated. Reggie, goated. Who is going to win?
I'm gonna go FC because while Reggie is very good at Ubers, I feel FC is probably better at this specific kind of Ubers.
I also am going FC because the experience in this format really helped FC here. And I think Reggie, I mean, credit to Reggie, he can build teams and do well in Ubers, but FC, definitely the one to pick here. Next up, Monotype Cap, Trichotomy versus Tear Acid. We've seen the
Trichotomy. Trichotomy.
Oh yeah, yeah, we've seen this before. This is a rematch from before. Trichotomy slaughtered Tear Acid. This one's going exactly the same. And finally, Mystery OU, we got Splorsh versus Ewin.
Ewin.
You're going Ewin on this one?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, this is a matchup between two very well-known OU players, so this one's going to be a highlight for those Smog Tours people. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go Ewin on this one. So, what does that make?
What does that leave our foretold score at?
I believe it's 4-4.
Really? Okay, let's see. Longheap, Fabulu, Franklin, Ewin. Yeah, that's 4. Trichotomy, FC, Shadow.
Yeah, it's a 4-4. It might be a tiebreaker. Might be a very interesting tiebreaker.
Yeah, well, that is what we first foresee. I predict it will not end in a tie.
Okay,
I feel like the Runes will win.
Alright, I can't wait to see if either of these two.
Well, what was their score last time they played?
I believe I've already pointed out the Runerigus is 1 against the Articunos, 5-3.
Then I feel like that same outcome probably happened.
Okay. But it's time now for the one everyone's looking forward to, including yours truly, because my god, we got some hype matchups, folks. Absolute Poster versus the Belated Drive Bayonet, 2nd seed versus 3rd seed. First off, TSAA, we got Manager Mayhem, Euphinos versus the Number Man, in tier shift on almost any ability. Now, they've met before in World Cup of other metagames. They met in the semifinals, actually. Very, very fitting that they meet in another semifinals here. They played Kamamons and the Number Man won. So, who will win this time in terms of TSAA? I think the same result might happen. I mean, Euphinos can really build some really good teams, and we've seen them play really well in terms of TSAA, but the other tiers not so much. But the TSAA, where it really stands, Euphinos absolutely kills it. But this is the Number Man we're talking about, who's been known to kill OMMs for the past couple of years. The Number Man should win this one. Stab and Mega, Ice Master versus Axel. Last week really proved that Axel really can predict well against Ice Master. I mean, he's done well. I mean, both players have done well. Like I pointed out last week, these are the two players with the top S&M records. And
now they literally have the same record,
wow, what is it?
5-2.
All right. So again, this is really shaping up to be quite the matchup here. Will Ice
Oh,
Master?
and did you know that they're basically sparring partners in this meta?
I didn't.
They are the one who always test against each other.
Oh, so it is now time for the actual match. Not just spars anymore. We have now the actual match to prove it. I'm gonna say.
And Ice Master is desperate for tests as a result.
Oof. In that case, I'm gonna go Axel on this one because, judging from last week, I think Axel has got Ice Master's number.
Yes, I feel that is a very good assumption.
Alright. Multi-gen Rands, Casual.exe versus Michael Their Best 2, and finally I get to predict a Michael Their Best match before it even happens! Yes! Got you on the nose this time, Michael. And this time, I'm gonna predict you to win, because you're 14-0. You're 7-0 in Rands. Come on. Casual, pretty good player, pretty good Rands player. We've seen them do well before, but this is Michael we're talking about.
No one beats Michael.
Yeah, Michael Their Best. Camo doubles, Yoda versus Z. Another highlight match. I mean, both players, top of the line doubles players. Yoda for having the best camo dubs record. Z being the professional doubles player. This one's a really tough one. I think I'm gonna get Yoda, but only slightly. Because I know, but chances are Z may win, and I'm not gonna be surprised. National Deck, same 6. We got Tony versus Shiloh. We didn't see this game last week, so we're getting this one this week. Hopefully. I mean, Shiloh is good. I'm not discrediting that. Shiloh is good. But Tony Flygon can absolutely make the worst mods look like competitive beasts. I'm gonna go Tony Flygon on this one.
That's understandable. I mean, I was teamed with him last year, and he had to face Shiloh then, too.
Uh-huh. And now we're getting the rematch. The rematch. Not Supers, we got...
Never thought I'd have to root for Shiloh. Never thought I'd have to one day root for Shiloh instead of Tony.
Well, now you're getting that wish. Natech Supers minus obtainable forms. We got Will versus Kate. Yeah, Kate hasn't been the most impressive in Natech Supers. I mean, I think she has the worst record in your team. I'm not too sure.
Does.
Oof. Well, Will has had a great...
Only Oakley's and Parrish come somewhat close.
Well, Will has done a really good season in Natech Supers. Probably the third best, if I have to count. But behind Star Master in FC. But yeah, I think this should be a Will win, honestly. Unless Kate...
You would think.
Unless Kate built some really good Ubers teams.
It's not necessarily the team she's been using.
But it is a good one,
I feel like she hasn't quite brought it in the past weeks.
But now...
However, if she is bringing it this week, you may be surprised at the result.
Oof. I have to expect that then. Monotype Cap, we got Dugsa versus Parishong. Oof. Another case of mono main, mono goated mono player versus... hasn't done too well. I mean, Parishong can play monotype. We've seen them in the past that they can do pretty well. It's just that they're facing Dugsa, who is a mono main through and through. Yeah, this is a Dugsa win. But Mystery OU, we got Lax versus Easy. I don't think there's any contest. Did they meet before? It
was
was.
Manette versus Pooh, yes, so
This one is literally the
yeah,
opposite.
they have not met.
This is literally the opposite of this one. Lax versus Easy. The OU players who have stuck by with us. This one's a really hard choice. And this one, I'm gonna go with my betting man instance and predict the upset, that being Easy.
Whoa, you think Easy's the upset here?
I think Easy is, I mean, Lax has been pretty dang great in OU. Meanwhile, Easy, we haven't really seen the best of Easy up to this point, so I feel like we're gonna see the best of Easy here.
Wow. Let's see. Remember TPP?
Which one?
You know, the player.
The player?
You see, Lax lost to TPP, Easy won to TPP.
So, does that basically...
Well, perhaps this is a metaphor.
So, do you think Easy conquers all?
I do believe that.
I mean, Easy's got the better record of the two. 4-2 to 3-2. No, 4-1 to 3-2.
Although,
but
I will say this. It almost sounded like he was slightly worried when I said who his opponent was.
So, yeah. It's understandable that I call him the upset, huh?
No.
Fine. I still think Easy's gonna win, though.
Good.
So, what does that make it? 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3 for the bayonets, and then 5 for the Absols. But we'll... Hopefully you'll actually produce a... Hopefully you produce a great series. Hopefully.
We'll just have to hex our way to it.
Oh, God.
If that's
Oh, God, now that you said that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. The semis predicts. I had a fun time. I believe Poker's had a fun time. Do you, though? Alright, thank you all for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to the notification bell so you won't miss any of my videos when they come out, all that good stuff. Tune in next week when we'll cover, hopefully, no tiebreakers. Hopefully, we can actually get this tour done with. Where we'll look at semifinals recap and finals predicts. I don't want to jinx it. Maybe we'll get some tiebreakers in. Just for shit.
Plot twist will be the tiebreaker.
Imagine both of you having the tiebreaker.
That'd be awesome.
Oh boy, another week? Ugh. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been McCoy, signing out.
We will win.